I mean, it's must win, right? I think everything just unfortunately, everything kind of tenses up. So guys who've been here before, you have to try to lean in on what we've done to get here and relax a little bit, trust and rely on what's got us here, the maturity of our team, and go out there and perform our best football in front of a home crowd, which is something we earned.
What was it like to watch what happened in Buffalo yesterday?
What happened?
I mean, the game and the way it.
Sorry, yeah, during our game. I thought that was so cool, right? They took the first kickoff all the way to the house, and then afterwards watching some of Josh's interviews where he had said, 3 years and 3 months, and they had 3 touchdowns. The defense had 3 interceptions. There was 330. I mean, just some crazy stuff that is definitely some divine intervention. And as a Christian man, I definitely think God had His hand in it.
How about the good news this afternoon that DeMar was able to head back to Buffalo?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're the first one telling me that. I know that everything has been trending that way. So, again, just a ton of answered prayers. So thankful for him. I saw he kind of got his presence a little bit back on social media, thanking a lot of people. And it's just good that he's being responsive and that there's a plan for him to hopefully get back.
Pros and cons of playing a team that you just saw, 12 days ago, 14, whatever.
Yeah, I think you can maybe be lulled into the fact that, we've seen these guys, we know what they're going to do. I don't think that's the case. It's always so hard to beat a team twice. You've seen this season that in our season already, and so we have to have our P's and Q's all dialed up. And again, the benefit is that we do know what we had some success with, some of the personnel stuff up front. You know who's going to be blocking you, and vice versa. But when it comes to the scheme and stuff like that, everyone's going to be dialing up their best everything, things they've been holding on to all year. And so we know there's going to be some unscouted looks, and we just have to try to eliminate those as much as we can.
They had a season high 445 yards total offense against you guys last time. High for their season. What do you got to do better on defense this time around?
If we do the exact same thing and win the football game, it's a win. So that's what we're most focused on right now.
Harrison, do you feel like this playoff field is pretty wide open? I mean, you've played all these teams. Most of the games have been close. The teams at the top have had injuries. Do you feel like it's there for the taking?
I think a lot of times when you look back historically in the playoffs, it's a true any given Sunday type thing. And so, the ball is shaped a weird way for a reason. It can kind of bounce different ways, and obviously you can be execute on 99 of your 100 plays, and that 100th play might get you. So, I think that's some of the messaging that we're going to preach is being as consistent as we can. And I think that you've seen when we're firing on one side of the ball or all 3 sides of the ball, different points in the season. If we can bring that consistently, I think that we could win a handful of games here and hopefully go the whole way.
You touched a little bit upon it last week, but as a guy who's experienced a lot in the playoffs, what can you do to help some of those guys who don't have a lot of playoff experience or none?
I know that the one thing that always comes up in the playoffs, and this might not be a direct answer to your question, but when the season does end, hopefully in 4 games from now, for the young players to understand that this doesn't come all the time. I've been with someone who played, 10 plus seasons, 13 seasons, and maybe never went to the playoffs or only got there once. And so, but for the time being, I think that same thing is that urgent approach of, hey, we're not trying to do anything outside of our framework, and don't be anything extra than you have been. You should have been doing that already this whole season. It still is important. But every single snap is life and death. And so when you're out there, maybe in the regular season against a non-conference opponent, plays over there, you're like, somebody else will get it, right? In the playoffs, no, you have to have the mindset that I'm the only person that can stop this player offensively. I have to make this block or this won't get a touchdown. And so being able to have that for full 60 minutes or however long it takes, I think you have to have some type of maturity. And so for our younger players who haven't had that experience, or even veteran players who never played in the playoffs, that could be a learning curve.
Is that reinforced by the balance to strike? Go ahead. Is that a difficult balance to strike where you want to kind of emphasize the importance of this moment but also treat it like it's just a normal game?
It's very tricky, and I think the best way to do it is just to delay it as much as possible. I already feel the excitement from some of the guys. They're getting in the playoffs for the first time or a long time here, and so I already feel that excitement. So you just want to try to encourage the calm before the storm as much as you can, because the night before the game, it's hard to sleep. I've been there every year. I mean, the day of the game, you get that juices flowing and stuff. So if you can delay it as much as possible, I think is the best bet.